as long as you've been in WWE or in the wrestling business in general, but let's talk about your time in WWE because you were a strong part of the creative force. There was many times you were helping me come up with shit, or you were presenting me with ideas. How you got designated that task? Well, let me ask you, how did you get designated with the task of working with Stone Cold?
Nobody else wanted to work with you. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, dude, straight up. Was I considered a prick?
You know what? The real reason was, I think, well, you and I kind of had a rapport.
Right.
We got along with each other. I never bullshitted you. You would ask me, hey, what do you think about this? And I'd tell you straight up if I thought it sucked. And usually I would get that, yeah, me too. And we would sit down and work through it. But there was an intimidation factor there. You're Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're the top guy. And when you would bark, people would think, oh, my God, Steve's yelling at me. I was like, Steve ain't yelling at you. He's just telling you that he doesn't like it. Change it. But for some of those guys, it was, well, I don't want to work with Steve because he's going to yell at me or he doesn't like my shit. Guess what? He doesn't like Vince's shit. He doesn't like my shit. He doesn't like his shit sometimes. But it's his way of expressing himself. I never had a problem with it.
But I was always open-minded to hearing anything. But, once you get to a certain level and you can be picky, and I was wanting to accept anything that was viable. So it wasn't like – it's funny because when I look back – and like when I talked to Dutch Mantell about my days in USWA, I came in there, former football player right out of North Texas State, greener than grass, thought I was better than I was, wasn't trying to be a prick, but, I was a little bit cocky because I was a pretty good athlete, but boy, all of a sudden I get in the wrestling business and I don't know fuck all. But, and he had to smarten me up. And I wasn't trying to be a dick, and I was never arrogant, but I guess people, perception, and he was the booker, he was the boss, so he had to lay the 411 down to me and tell me how it was, and he did, and I followed it. And, when I was working with Bill Dundee, who's 5'7" and should be in the Hall of Fame, I'm thinking, okay, shit, man, I'm 6'2", 255. I'm probably going to beat the fuck out of this guy, right? No, not so fast, my friend. You're working with the superstar, and the superstar is smart enough to keep himself over. He's going to make you sell. You're going to pay your dues. You're going to learn from him. So, right. But yeah, you just, sometimes different people, it's like Undertaker. Undertaker can be quite menacing, quite scary if you don't know him and you're presenting him an idea. You know him like the back of your hand. You're very good friends. But he can present that same ominous type, and Taker. He's kind of like Clint Eastwood at 6'11", exactly. And he just hears something and he's just kind of quiet and he soaks it in. Whereas I would kind of be like a knee-jerk reaction. Well, goddamn, that ain't worth the fuck. But I was always willing to listen to a fucking point.
But also, we communicated, too.
We absolutely did. Well, we were friends. We didn't hang around. We didn't call each other. We didn't send text messages. We got along, and we were friends. And I trusted you.
And we got business done. And I always would like to try to say, I told the story we covered in the Angle stuff. Remember when we were doing, you were hurt, Angle was hurt, but both on TV, and we were doing all that backstage shit. Well, we would write basically an outline of what we wanted to do, and you would get there and the fucking cowboy hats, man, coming in with the cowboy hats. Goddamn, walking through the airport, saw these hats, thought it'd be great. Hey, Kurt, I got you one. We didn't have that written in. We just did it that day, and I dare say we would fiddle fuck around all day so that we could get to live. Oh shit, we didn't get this done. I guess we're gonna have to go live. And we could pretty much get whatever the hell we wanted on air. I loved working with you because if it was the shits, I'd say, well, no, that's what Steve wanted to do. Oh, well, goddamn, in that case, it's awesome. God, I love it. That's Steve. That's great. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. And we were trusted to go live. And Vince entrusted us to our judgment that we weren't going to screw anything up. And we had a lot of fun. But the creativeness to come in, I didn't come in with, goddamn, Steve, this is what you got to do.
Right.
I came in with, here's what we'd like to do. And then we would talk about it. How are we going to tell this story? How are we going to get this stuff done? And Because I don't think I ever was one to dictate this is how you're going to do it.
No, because a lot of times I'd ask you, and goddamn, what do you think? Well, fuck, I'd do it like this. And you'd have a pretty good take on, like, fuck, I like that. So a lot of times we'd do it your way just based on the territories that you had been in. It sounded like a good idea at the time. It had worked. Now, we never copied anybody, but you had ideas from the places that you had been before. So sometimes that cookie cutter shit came out and you put your salt and pepper on it, all of a sudden chicken shit became chicken salad.
Yeah, and it was fun and it was easy, but I just think that I would always kind of chuckle at the intimidation factor. People were scared of you. You were the top guy. And unless I grew up in Texas, man, all my buddies are you, basically. Okay.
Right.
You know, we speak the same language. You're not intimidating to me. You're just Steve.
Right.
And you're the top guy and made us all a shitload of money. But at the same time, guess what? You know, we can have a damn conversation over what's good. And as Vince used to say, got a pretty good track record, pal. So let's go with it. If it works, they think that a lot of times that it's all one way. Right. And that doesn't work. It's got to be two ways. You got to listen to the guy that's got to perform it, the guy that creates it and is performing it. They got to believe it. And you're not a character. You're just Steve Austin. And you turn that volume up there, and that's all it is. And people don't understand that. They think, well, if they'd given me that Stone Cold character. Who gave you the Stone Cold character?
Ain't nobody gave me that shit. I came up with the name and finally dialed it up. Had a few conversations with Vince when he was editing my shit out, and things turned into what they turned into.